To start this tutorial, the first thing we will do is go to the Curve tab and use the Add Sketches command to insert our reference images. In the command panel, we see several options: top, front, and side. We will add the images to their corresponding positions, first top, then front, and finally the side view. Once we have the images, we simply press Accept to create our references. Select them and type Artisan Center to center the cube with the images. Now we will go to the Shanks tab and use the Curve command. For this model, we will select the USA region and a size of 6.5. This curve will be our reference. Now we will rotate the images 90 degrees so they match the ring curve. Then we will rotate another 180 degrees to orient it as shown in the video. From the front view, we will scale the reference images uniformly by pressing Shift so they adjust to the size of the ring. Adjust the position and the scale using the gumball. Once you have everything in place, move the references to one of the object layers and lock them so they do not interfere while modeling. To start our model, we will go to the Sub-D tab and use the Sphere command. Then we will enlarge the front view and create a sphere with more or less the proportions of the panther's head. It is important to mention that the faces of the sphere should be oriented in a way that prepares the front part as shown in the video. This will make modeling much easier. Once created, you can adjust the rotation using the gumball, then show all views again. Activate the filter to select faces. Select the 4 faces oriented toward the ear of the panther. Go back to the front view and extrude using the gumball. Scale vertically, rotate the faces and position them according to the reference. Then extrude again and reposition. You can use the Edges filter to adjust the model. Double-clicking an edge will select the entire loop. This will help model more precisely. Take your time to position each edge and each face following the reference. Remember, you can activate different selection filters if it is more comfortable. When you have the first part formed, select the 4 front faces. If you want to make sure you have the 4 faces, you can use the other views. Extrude them and model the head. The more accurate this first process is, the better results you will get later. Now we will extrude once again the back part, the 4 faces, and this time we will stretch them a lot. This will be the connection with the shank later. Once you are happy with it, show the 4 views again. From the right view, adjust the width of the model, always following the reference. Remember that it is important to check several views to see the complete state of the model, and you can also use different display modes to verify that the edges adapt to the reference. Since I am not using symmetry now, to scale both sides equally, what I will do is select the same faces from one side and the other, and scale them with the gumball. To make the work easier, we will activate symmetry, so we only need to model one side. In the Sub-D tab, use the Reflect command, then select the model. From the right view, with OSNAP activated, select the central point at the top and then at the bottom, and now we have the reflected model. We can keep modeling on the brighter side without worrying about symmetry. Take your time to create a model as close to the reference as possible. For the mouth area, we need one more edge loop. For that, select the entire horizontal loop and then use the Insert Edge command to add another loop in the lower part. Now from the front view position, adjust them to the mouth. Then select the face located where the mouth will be. Change the gumball to object mode to position it according to the face. Now extrude that face inward. You can scale it horizontally to adjust it. Remember that an organic model is based a lot on each person's creativity, so take your time to adjust it to your taste and your needs. Then unlock the reference images and rotate them 90 degrees from the top view. Lock them again. Enlarge the top view and adjust the model in this view. When the model is to your liking, move it to a layer and hide it. Now we will focus on creating the ear. For that, we go to the Sub-D tab and use the Sphere command. We will create a sphere more or less with the proportions of the ear and adjust it. Once we have it, we will show all views, select the inner faces, and extrude inward using the gumball. Then we change the filter to None and scale from the side view to make the ear thinner. Position it using all views for guidance. Once we have it, select the ear and type Mirror in the command bar. Then type 0 and press Enter to set the mirror center. After that, hold Shift and select a top point in the right view. This way, we activate ortho and create the other ear in the correct position. Now show the rest of the model to finish adjusting. We can now show the reference images from the other angle. If you do not have a copy, just rotate the images 90 degrees as before. Take your time to adjust the model. Move the ear to the same layer as the body of the model. Lock this layer. Then go to the Shanks tab and use the classic command to create the shank. Enlarge the front view without selecting any preset click edit. You can use the gumball to scale the shank. Then activate the lower profile and also adjust its height. Then activate the side profile and adjust the width as well. You can hide the model layer to keep adjusting the shank. Change type to solid in all profiles. Now we only need to create the opening. For that, we go to the advanced options of the shank and change the opening to cutting. We will adjust the measurement according to the reference. In my case, 16. But remember that this is an organic model, so you can adjust everything to your measurements. You can even scale the model and create a shank adapted to your dimensions, or first create the shank and then adjust the size of the model and adapt it to your style. This is only a reference of how you could do it. The beauty of Sub D is creating unique models. Now go to the side view to adjust the shank width. Use the gumball to make the work easier, although you can also set the exact measurements in the command panel. When everything is ready, simply accept the command to create the shank. Now we need to convert the shank to Sub D. Select it, go to the Sub D tab and use the quad remesh command. In my case, I like to activate the target edge length option and convert it to Sub D, then activate the preview and hide the input so I can see the result before accepting. The higher the length, the fewer faces we will have, which makes it easier to model. For objects with many details, we will need a lower length to not lose details. This will depend on each model. In my case, I will leave it at 2. Accept the command. I will hide the original shank in case I want to modify it later. Now I will adjust the union area. It is important to mention that the better we adjust the shank and the model, the smoother the union will be, so take your time to adjust everything. When you are ready, remove the symmetry of the head. By pressing the Reflect command, select the model, and in the command bar, you can click Remove to get rid of the reflection. To unite the entire model, select all parts, then go to the Solid tab and use the Boolean Union command. Now we will convert everything into Sub D. Go to the Sub D tab and use the Quad Remesh command. In this case, since we have many more details to keep, we will need a lower measure. We will also activate symmetry in X. As you see, with a measure of 2, we lose all the detail of the model. Reduce it to 0.5 and wait for the command to compute. The result is much more detailed. We can accept the command. If you want to test other measures, you can. And when you are satisfied, accept. Hide the original. If you see that the union is not completely smooth, you can do 2 things: adjust better and unite everything again, or adjust the resulting Sub D. You can delete edges to get a smoother result. Remember, the organic model must be to your taste. Now we will hide everything and show the reference images. Go to the Diamonds tab and use the Gem Studio command to create the eyes of the panther. We will create a pear-shaped gem and set the carats to 0.02. Then we will add it. Position the gem following the reference. Then show the model to finalize the adjustment, making sure it is close enough to the head of the model. Once you have positioned it, you can simply make a mirror using 0 as the center point and shift to position it while activating ortho. Then accept the command to create the gems. Select one of the gems and use the gem's curve command to extract the curve. Hide the gem. Select the curve. Go to the Curve tab and create an offset of 0.2 to the outside. Then select both curves, and in the Surface tab use the Planar Surface command to create a surface. Remember that the gumball is in object mode, which is why it is positioned like this. Select the surface, and by pressing Alt-click on the small blue sphere of the gumball, type 0.2, and this way, we extrude the surface to both sides by 0.2 millimeters. Select the solid, and now go to the Sub-D tab to convert it using Quad Remesh. I will use a measure of 0.2 without symmetry. Hide the original solid. We can show the gem and adjust the position so the solid goes further inside the head of the panther so it does not stick out too much. It does not matter if the gem is hidden. Later, we will create cutters, and it will be perfectly visible. Then delete the gem on the other side and make a mirror of the Sub-D and gem we have positioned. Now we will delimit the areas where we will add gems. There are multiple ways to do this. The first thing I will do is create a copy of the ring with the Copy command found in the Transform tab. In the command bar, you can select in place to create the copy in the same position. We will hide everything except the copied ring. I will create a series of curves to make the process easier. Go to the Curve tab and create a circle. Set the center at 0 and create a circle that more or less reaches the bottom part of the panther's mouth. Then we will move it upwards, and from the perspective view, bring it in front of the model. Project from the side view the curve onto the model. This will be the gem area. Select the model, then go to the Sub-D tab and convert it into NURBS. You can delete or hide the Sub-D. Select the NURBS and the curve, and in the upper left, click the Trim command. Then click on the part of the model that remains below the projected curve. Now we have cut the model by the gem positioning area. Press Enter to finish. We need to cut the inner part, since we will not place gems there. We will create another circle from the central point that passes through the area we want to cut. More or less over the middle of the shank. Move the curve in front of the model to be able to cut it. This time, we will use the Split command. As a cutting object, use the created curve. Now we can delete the internal surface. We already have our first gem area. For the second area, we will show the copied Sub-D we still have. It is important to also show the offset curve of the gem. From here, we will create some reference curves. From the front view, we will use the Curve command to create a curve in the union area of the shank. Then create a circle that comes out a little from the inside of the model to later cut the inner part where we will not place gems. Bring the curves forward. Create another circle to delimit the mouth area. Activate the edges filter and press Shift to select multiple. You can press Ctrl to deselect a section. Finally, select the edges surrounding the ear. Once you have all the edges selected, go to the Curve tab and use the Duplicate Edge command. Now deactivate the filters and select both the model and the reference curves. Press the Trim command and cut the areas where we will not position gems. Press Enter to confirm. Now we already have the other gem positioning area. To continue, we will go to the Diamonds tab and use the Automatic Pave command. We will add the model to the selector. Then we can adjust all views using Pan, Zoom, and Rotate, and then Zoom Extents all to center them. For this model, we will use gems of 1.3, 1.2, 1.1, and 1. Activate Symmetry and select a midpoint of the head. We can show the gem preview and wait for the command to finish computing the gems. When it finishes, we will add more gems where we see space, then press Compute, so it recalculates. Repeat this procedure until no more gems fit. We can also help the command by moving gems manually. When the pave is to our liking, we will go to the Prongs tab. I will use a diameter of 0.6 millimeters, over girdle 0.2 millimeters, and under girdle 0.3 millimeters. For extension for manufacturing, I will also leave it at 0.3 millimeters. I will press Automatic Generation. Once the prongs are computed, we will add more in conflict areas. Take your time to add as many prongs as necessary. It is important that you finish the model according to your needs or your client's needs. So take your time. I will increase the speed since it is repetitive work, but pause the video if you need to. Remember, you can remove prongs, change the measurements, and add all you need. Once finished, go to the Cutters tab. For this model, we will use Preset 04 and activate the cutters. Accept the command to finish. Since the gem and object layers are hidden, we do not see the cutters. Now show everything necessary: the model, the cutters, the gems, and the prongs, also the eyes. We will also add cutters to the eye gems. For that, we will use the cutter command and add the gems. If one of them appears inverted, it is because we copied the gem before creating it, so its position is incorrect. Simply delete the inverted cutter and mirror the correct one. To finish, we will use the other gem area. Use the automatic pave command, add the surface to the panel, and for this pave we will use gems of 1.3. We will set the starting center and run it. When it finishes computing, simply move the gems manually to your liking. Add more gems, and keep positioning them little by little. You can lock gems that are already well positioned to make the work easier. This way they will not be affected by movement. Keep positioning until you are happy with the result. Once you have the gems as you want them, simply go to the Prongs tab, set the parameters, diameter 0.6, overgirdle and undergirdle 0.3, then extension for manufacturing also 0.3 millimeters. Press Generate. After the prongs have been computed, finish positioning them manually to create a result to your liking. Do not worry about the borders that do not fit on the surface. We will add those prongs later. Now go to the Cutters tab, activate the fourth preset, and activate the cutters. Accept the command to finish. Now we can hide the surfaces and show the original model. We will use the dynamic prongs command to create the last prongs. Add the model to the selector and set the parameters. Add the missing prongs where we had no surface so that our gems are well held. Once finished, accept the command, and now we have the model completely created, only missing to cut the gem areas with the cutters. Before cutting, I will save the model for safety. Then we go to the Solid tab, use the Boolean difference command, select the ring and press Enter. Then select the cutters and press Enter. And there it is. We have our perfectly finished ring with the cuts for the gems. Now, we only need a beautiful render to showcase the model on our social networks. We will leave a reference render, but we would love to see your results. Do not hesitate to send them to us.